Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have for you a video from Evanston community rallies after immigration operation leads to clashes, school closures. This is from WGN News, so let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Of course, you know on this channel we love to talk about ICE, and that's basically what we're talking about today.
Elected leaders, clergy members, residents, all speaking out.
Now, I know they're going to probably lie. I'm just going to say it straight out about this video footage. What happened here, and this is why I always tell you guys context matters. I hate watching videos where they clip out like the most important parts because they want to push a narrative. That's basically why. But what was going on, the reason this officer was pissed was because this man put hands on him and then continued to grab dude's junk and wouldn't let go, so the guy started beating the shit out of him until he let go. And that's what you get. You fat-foed. Stupid.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
After a clash involving federal agents resulted in several arrests in Evanston Friday. Dozens showed up for a community vigil this afternoon.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli is in Evanston with our top story. Courtney.
Community leaders shared their anger and calls for solidarity after a tense situation unfolded at this intersection early yesterday afternoon. What witnesses say happened here and what the Department of Homeland Security says happened tell two very different stories.
We are here to protest an injustice that is occurring in our community.
Dozens of people packing a parking lot near Asbury Avenue in Oakton Street. It comes on the heels of this unfolding around noon Friday.
Shame! They had pepper spray, handcuffs, and pulled weapons, and we had strength in numbers and nonviolence.
Bull crap. We've seen enough videos on this channel to know that these mother effers are lying, okay? Sometimes I can't with these people. Like, I can't believe they just straight up lie. Like, why can't you just be honest? You know, if it wasn't your people that were privy to the violence or the escalation, then just be honest and say, hey, look, we had nothing to do with those people. You know, we were out here protesting peacefully and these people ran up and started acting a fool. We don't condone either side. That's different. But for you to straight up lie, nah, bro, nah. That's not going to work for me. Try again.
DHS says Border Patrol agents were in the area conducting immigration enforcement operations. Witnesses tell WGN people were beeping to call attention to their presence when things took a crashing turn.
They abruptly slammed on their brakes to cause this accident.
Oh, you mean because you were probably following them? And you have to remember, ICE has been having crazy amount of threats, up to 80,000%. Was it 8,000%? It went up, and they've been rammed by other people's cars. They've gotten freaking one of the chicks that ran the Money Mad chick had a gun on her. You had other people people that were in protests that were on the lives. They were packing and they wanted to, you know, pew pew at ICE. Then you had a person that was reportedly having a knife that wanted to do stabby stabby. And then you had, of course, the Dallas situation where you had a sniper tried to shoot at ICE, but unfortunately got, the whole situation was unfortunate. Like, you know, nobody should be injured or murked because you don't like their ideology. But the people that were injured were immigrants. So good on you, stupid. Like, you were aiming for ICE and you hit the immigrants. Okay, bro. I'm pretty sure this lady's lying too.
As soon as that happened, they leapt out of their vehicles, went to her car, ripped her out of her car, threw her face down.
Jennifer Moriarty doesn't believe the woman driving the car was trying to cause issues and that she may have been boxed in. DHS disputes that and claims she was tailgating. They say as agents tried to make a U-turn, the red car crashed into Border Patrol. A hostile crowd surrounded the agents and their vehicle and began verbally abusing them and spitting on them.
I came walking up with my cell phone in hand, outstretched. One of the agents turned around and just took me down.
Moriarty says she was the second person detained, and this man was the third. Video shows agents punching a man in handcuffs on the ground. A DHS spokesperson on social media alleging the man assaulted and kicked agents before grabbing the genitals of one, refusing to let go. They're claiming that's what prompted defensive strikes, but Moriarty sharing a different account.
A young man came from the side. It just sort of asked if everything was okay, and they just attacked him.
Moriarty says she was put in a van with 2 others, all U.S. citizens, according to DHS, and driven around Evanston and Rogers Park.
Driving the wrong way on one-way streets, going into alleys, and on multiple occasions, they attempted to create the same situation with us in the car.
She says eventually she was put into another vehicle and brought to a facility in Chicago, later released.
We were never arrested. We were never Mirandized. We were never accused of committing any crimes.
WGN reaching out to DHS for body-worn camera footage or a response to claims of what happened during transport. Moriarty hopes the agency releases video she believes likely exists.
And in fact, they said when we pulled into the garage downtown, they could turn their body cameras off at that point.
DHS says during operations in Skokie and Evanston, 5 people in the U.S. illegally from Mexico were arrested. The agency says their histories include criminal trespass and multiple illegal entries into the country. We've reached out for more information. In Evanston, Courtney.
I'm not going to believe anything that white liberal person said because they're so full of crap. Because then when the truth comes out that she's lying, she ain't going to backtrack. You know, she's already told a lie and millions of people already listen to her lie and believe the crap. Like, it's such bullcrap. So here's another clip from Fox News Clips. This is ICE agents dodge bullets speeding cars in California.
ICE agents in California forced to dodge bullets and speeding cars being used as weapons in the second attack in the state in the last 10 days. Our senior correspondent Claudia Cowan is following this. She's live in Northern California for us. Claudia?
John, this seems to be the emerging MO in many of these attacks against ICE agents. A driver tries to run them over, prompting officers to fire their weapons to protect themselves. This latest incident happened yesterday morning around 6:30 a.m. down in Southern California in Ontario. ICE officials say they were conducting a traffic stop when a driver, identified as 24-year-old Carlos Jimenez, pulled in front of them. When officers ordered him to leave, they say Jimenez reversed his car and came at them without stopping. An ICE officer fired in self-defense, and Jimenez fled the scene. A spokesperson for his family says he was just curious about what he was seeing.
He saw someone.
Bullshit. I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna lie. I be curious about stuff when I be driving, and that's my cat. And I like, and it is natural for people to be curious, you know, like when you're driving down the expressway or even in the streets and you see a car accident, you're just like, what's going on, you know? But I've never reversed to go see and be nosy. That's bullcrap. I call bullcrap because the one thing I don't want to be part of is any of that. So I'm always just like driving by. Interesting. No way. Crazy. That's it. No normal person would reverse and try and get all up in that business. I'm just saying.
Being basically surrounded by armed men with a mask. And so he decided that he was going to try to see what was going on.
According to that family spokesperson, Jimenez was shot in the shoulder, drove himself to his brother's house, where relatives then got him to the hospital, and he's now in custody. In a statement, DHS says, quote, "This is another example of the threats our ICE officers are facing day in and day out as they risk their lives to enforce the law and arrest criminals. Let me be clear. Anyone who assaults, impedes, obstructs, or threatens the lives of federal officers will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." In recent days, ICE agents have faced violence here in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and Phoenix.
They go straight to jail. Straight to jail.
All, they say, involving drivers trying to either block them in or run them over, prompting officers to fire their weapons in self-defense. Carlos Jimenez is now being held without bail at the San Bernardino County Jail, pending charges of assaulting, impeding, or resisting ICE officers. John.
Stupid. Faffode. And finally we have this, and this explains it all, okay? The reason that ICE is like on like on high alert is because this is a constant with them. They're constantly getting threatened. They're constantly getting hands put on them. They're constantly being spit at. They're constantly being peed. All they're trying to do is do their job. Y'all got problem and beef with ICE for doing their job, then maybe you should take it up with your senators, with your congressmen, with your aldermen, the people you voted into power, because all ICE is doing is following the law. Y'all don't like the law, then get at your people to fix the law. If not, sit down, shut the F up, okay? But this is also prompting this. This is from Fox News. New 10,000 more ICE enforcement officers hired to arrest the worst of the worst. Let's go.
President Trump revealing he thinks the immigration raids have not gone far enough and is blaming liberal judges for getting in the way of his
100%.
agenda. Let's bring in DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. She joins us now. Great to have you. Let's listen to a little bit of that interview with him last night.
Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone
far enough. Trump needs to take off them kids' gloves, take them training wheels off, and just go full blown. I'm gonna say it again. Trump.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button. Let's go with the Insurrection Act. I'm waiting. Let's go.
Far enough, because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look 100%. At the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Hi. Okay, so Tricia, one of the things that happened last week is President Trump announced that there would be all of these changes, or I guess ICE changes, at heads of leadership in all these different offices. Is that because the president wanted to see more deportations out of those offices?
Well, the president is all about results, as is Secretary Noem, and really what President Trump, Secretary Noem, and our law enforcement have been able to do in the past 270 days, despite the injunctions, despite the obstruction from sanctuary city politicians and these activist judges, is really nothing short of extraordinary. 2 million illegal aliens exiting the country. That includes 1.6 million deportations and over 500,000 deportations from our ICE and CBP officers. But we're going to be really surging resources. We have 10,000 new ICE enforcement officers are going to be hired in the coming days. So we know that we're going to continue to arrest the worst of the worst off of the streets of America's sanctuary cities and across the nation, Dana.
And so the 2 million number, it's a big number. But when it comes to changing that leadership at those ICE offices, is the hope on behalf of President Trump or the Secretary to get that number to what? From 2 million up to what by the end of next year?
I can't speak to the exact number, Dana, but we're going to put, and Secretary Noem is going to put the people in place and the policies in place to make sure that we remove these public safety threats from our communities, whether it be Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago, Boston, New York, you name it. If these sanctuary politicians won't help us to make their communities safe, we will surge our federal resources to do it for them.
Okay, you brought up Portland, and there was, this is like a ping pong game. Can they go in? Can they not go in? A judge on last night said about Portland that the court finds no credible evidence that protests grew out of control.
It's like all the judge has to do is go on TikTok, go on YouTube, watch some of these lives, Cam Higbee, Portland Andy. You have all these people, Honey Badger Mom, all these people that are showing Nick Shirley, something shorter. Sorry, guys, I forget his name. But you have all these people that are going live showing this stuff, and you're seeing the violence right then and there. So I don't understand why these judges are trying to say, well, we don't see anything. Bullish. Because they just don't care because they're part of this whole insanity.
Or involved more than the isolated and sporadic instances of violent conduct that resulted in no serious injuries to federal personnel. So where does it stand now?
We will continue to fight this out in court, Dana. This will not be the last ruling or the last word, but I will say, why did President Trump, and the American people should know this, why President Trump called the National Guard into Portland is because our officers were facing mass assault and mass attacks. And because of the policies of these sanctuary politicians, local law enforcement is hamstrung. They can't answer to backup calls from our federal officers. 100%. So when our federal officers are being attacked, they have to stand down. President Trump knows we need to protect our law enforcement, and that's why he called in the National Guard. He's going to do whatever he can to protect our law enforcement, and whether that means bringing in more Border Patrol agents or other federal officers, we'll keep everything on the table.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're watching the video right now, and it doesn't seem sporadic or isolated. So I don't know what evidence was presented in court. We'll continue to follow the bouncing ball on this one. Trisha, thank you.
It's such bullcrap. I get so annoyed because of these stupid liberal judges. All they keep doing is voting with their stupid emotion, and emotion shouldn't be playing a role here. You have the facts of the case, and that's it. You can look it up yourself, and you can argue it, and you could say, look, this is everything, and this judge knows that. They just don't care, like they're so engulfed in the woke ideology that they have blinders on at this point. That or they're just plain evil. That's just my opinion. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment below. What you think is going on, in regards to ICE, and do you think the threat levels that they're facing are true? Do you think it's being exaggerated? Or do you think that the judges are just stupid and and are just purposely trying to tie Trump's hand behind his back, like one of his hands, so that he can't do anything? So you guys let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Till next time, guys.